Hello everyone, welcome back to Fight Tonight channel. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for supporting me, guys. Gervonta Davis, trainer, names the Korean World Champion Tank will definitely face soon. Having cemented his place as one of the biggest names in boxing, there are few fights involving Gervonta Davis that would not be considered mega fights by all modern definitions. However, there is a fighter with whom Davis shares a long history that would be an opponent more enticing than most others. Davis and two-way world champion Teofimo Lopez have known each other since they were little more than children, making their way through the American amateurs ranks, and now both in their 20s are both regarded as amongst the best fighters in the entire sport. And when Tank's trainer Calvin Ford was asked about a possible bout between his charge and Lopez, he assured Mill City Boxing that it will definitely happen one day. That fight, Davis versus Lopez, is going to happen one day because of the background they have with each other. We've seen them spar each other when they were amateurs and what not. That's going to be a good fight one day. I think when they get to a point when all the smoke has cleared with all these other guys, I'm hoping Teofimo will hold that 140 spot, and Tank will hold his spot. These great moments that we are seeing in boxing are going to continue. Because you have got to remember, these guys are older than the guys coming up underneath them. Both Davis and Lopez's reputations are perhaps at an all-time high currently, after coming off impressive wins early this year against Ryan Garcia and Josh Taylor respectively. However, as always seemed to be the case with the fight fans want most, there are a host of promoter and broadcasting issues that will need to be worked out if the two are ever to share a professional ring. Head of Manny Pacquiao's promotions hints at Gervonta Davis vs Isaac Pitbull Crow's second fight. It has been 5 months since Gervonta Davis faced Ryan Garcia in the ring. Following the victory against Garcia on account of violating house arrest, Davis was sent to jail. In 2020, after Davis injured J.R. Smith in a hit-and-run case, he received 90 days of house arrest, followed by 3 years of probation. However, by buying $3.4 million worth of property, Tank violated the terms of his house arrest and served the remainder of his sentence in prison. Although Davis has been released, he has yet not confirmed what he wants next in the sport. While boxing fans certainly want Tank to face the best fighters in the division, the head of Manny Pacquiao's promotion, Sean Gibbons, hinted at a potential rematch between Isaac Cruz and Gervonta Davis. Here is what Gibbons said. When I travel around the USA and Mexico, I get stopped by boxing fans. The first question they always ask me is, when is Pitbull fighting Gervonta Davis again? Sean Gibbons said. Manny Pacquiao has only signed one non-Filipino fighter ever to his MP Promotions stable, and that's Isaac Pitbull Cruz Jr., and backs him to win, he added. Along these lines, Gibbons praised PBC and Al Heyman, and while on the same topic, he even hinted at a potential date for Cruz vs Davis II. As per Gibbons, All Heyman's PBC is the only company that is taking care of the needs of the hour. In his opinion, at the current pace, PBC is likely to offer Davis Cruz II as a post-Christmas gift. PBC and Al Heyman are the only company in this year to give the boxing fans the fights the fans want, Gibbons said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.